Eric, feel good to be back now with the team, and just maybe if we can just go over what the last couple weeks were like for you in that tournament.
Yeah, it's great to be back, and it was nice. I got to see the sun for a couple days too after the tournament, kind of reset before coming back. I thought the tournament was great. It was a great experience, and something I'll remember. Yeah, just fortunate to be a part of it, and really enjoyed it.
When we were in Montreal, you were talking to me about how you hope that the high intensity of that can really help you going into the rest of the season. What is it about experiencing that can kind of propel someone?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like the players coming back, they're going to have a little bit of upper hand. We just played some high-level hockey with, some of the best players in the league, and the speed that you had to play at, I think is going to help us coming back, and just trying to take some of the lessons from that tournament or whatever to be better for the team and hopefully bring another level.
When you guys come back to play tomorrow, it really sort of sets up this long 2 weeks where you basically go out on the road for 12 days. How important does this stretch really become, particularly knowing the last time you guys came out of a break?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know when you head closer to the trade deadline in March, it's you're either chasing or being chased. So we want to have the mindset of chasing the teams ahead of us, and like you said, get off to a strong start. Last break we had when we came back, we weren't happy with that. So we're trying to do a better job this time. Just find our consistency and really take the next step as a team.
What is the difference maybe between then and now?
Hard to say what the difference is, but I hope that we would just learn our lesson of what it requires. I mean, there's so many teams in our conference, that are right there, fighting for their lives, and just the importance of every game and every period right now to earn those 2 points is kind of the message, and we can't take anything for granted, and we got to play our A game to get to where we want to be.
And it's the time of year, obviously, where the games seem to get tighter, lower scoring, harder to score. Do you feel like this year, with how you guys have created a lot more offense off the forecheck and things like that too, you're maybe better positioned for games like that than maybe the past couple of seasons?
Yeah, maybe we have a different outlook as a team for sure. Some of those areas that weren't strengths, we've tried to make them some, but we still have a long way to go as a team. So just like I talked about consistency, we all know what it looks like when we're on our game, and we're a very tough team to beat, and we've shown that. But it's just about doing it every night and becoming that team that does it every night. That's championship caliber hockey.
Eric, what's the first step of building that consistency? Like, what's the first block of that foundation look like?
Well, probably first period of tomorrow's game. To be honest, you can't build consistency, without, just getting on a roll a little bit. And like I said, every team's coming off a break, and everyone's standing in the same position. So whoever's ready to go tomorrow is probably going to win the game. It'll be a great challenge for us, and we're looking forward to it.
Thanks, Eric. Bratt are obviously back now. Some guys have had breaks, but yours was really different being at Four Nations. Can you just sort of just take me through how that experience was for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. Such a great experience. Playing best on best national team, I've talked about it a lot before that, how much it means to me personally and my family to get to be there and play for my country and play best on best. It was a great experience, and happy to have shared it with everyone.
One of the things that Eric was just saying, that yes, some guys got rest, but guys who were in that tournament got to play at such a high level with such compete that there's a benefit in that too as you go into this final stretch. Can you acknowledge it? Like, what does that sort of mean to you?
Yeah, for sure. It was the highest paced game I've ever played, and the hardest games I've ever played. And for me and maybe guys like Jack who get to experience to play 3 and 4 games there, which both of us maybe doesn't have the most playoff experience. We've played one playoff year out of 6 and 8 for us, and for us to really get to play on that stage in those games, I think that was something that we learned a lot from, and we get to experience it, and I think that we're just going to grow even more out of that.
Obviously, it's something you probably have to think about, but is there something that comes to mind that you really experience as like a learning moment in that experience?
Yeah, well, definitely the time and space.
Right.
All the guys were so fast skater. Everyone's attention to detail were one of the best. So the time and space were very limited out there, and you had to make sure you make the right play all the time. You don't really get to transport the puck up the neutral zone with a lot of time and space. It was quick plays that had to happen and good decisions, and I think that was probably what I take most out of it.
Is it a lot of learning how to like process even faster the game, that like mentally on the mental side?
Yeah, for sure. Everything went fast. You gotta find ways to somehow bring your skill out in those games,
Right.
and that's not only playoff hockey. That's playing the top teams in the league, the best defensive teams in the league, to try to create scoring trend, try to be patient in the game, and attack on breakdowns when that happen, because those might be your only chances to create a goal. So good learning experience.
What'd you think of the final last night, Jesper?
Good, really good hockey game, really entertaining. Obviously, I wanted to be there, so obviously it hurt a little bit watching it. I mean, one goal maybe for us against Canada in overtime or Finland, and we could have had a chance playing that game. So tough watching it, but obviously an entertaining game.
How? Oh, go ahead, Maddie.
What do you want this team to do in the final 25 games? What's the goal?
I think it's finding our consistency in our game and finding that that culture in our game. I think that's going to be important for us, because I mean, the team that goes in the hottest to the playoff and the team that has the best feeling going into the playoff is usually really hard to beat. And for us now, we got 25 games after a season that maybe started really well and then has been a little bit of up and down since Christmas. I think for us now, it's going to be dialing it in together, coming together as a group, and really create that consistency in our game, that we know that what we bring to the table every night.
Thanks, Bratt. Then almost your full team back here, just not Jack today. How important was this practice, and just how much time you guys were able to prepare for what's about to be a pretty big 10 days here?
Yeah, it's really important. You know, get a couple of extra bodies back and some important players. Certainly helps the tempo. But yeah, I think with three good skates here now, the guys I think are in a good place, and they're probably practiced out and ready to get the games going.
When it comes to Jack, do you know if he's going to be able to play tomorrow? Like, have you not decided what?
I haven't talked to him.
Okay.
I haven't talked to him yet. Obviously, it's a heartbreaking loss for them last night. So let him be here. We'll connect this afternoon, and you know, we'll see where he's at.
What did you make of the game and the excitement and just how it played out? The two nations so close to the very end there.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a terrific tournament. Obviously, the players just invested so much in the tournament to put on a great show for our sport. So, you know, just a tremendous effort by everybody involved for all four nations, players and staff, coaches. I thought it was just a tremendous showcase for our league, and there's just so much talk, even outside the league and non-hockey people. And that's the credit to everybody that did the work. And then, you know, it comes down to overtime. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen there. It's so close, and that's what you like to see. You know, you like to see that it is so tight. To me, even in the other games, so tight. And then even from a coach's perspective, I mean, you got all the talent in the world out there. Yet it's such a hard-fought, tight-checking affair. So hard to generate offense, and you know, there's lots to take away from that from a coaching perspective as well.
What goes through your mind when you see Marner make that pass, goes through Austin, right to McDavid? What's your initial thought there?
Yeah, I mean, it's not often you find a guy with that much space in that kind of game, but just a terrific play by Mitch, not only to make the pass, but if you watch it back, he was kind of hiding in that corner and anticipating that puck to come his way. And usually when it does, it gets teams spread out, and that's kind of how it materialized. So yeah, but it's obviously, you know, U.S. had so many chances just before that, and you know, I'm obviously watching a little bit closer for the guys I'm familiar with, Austin and Mitch and Jack and Bratter and Halsey. Like, it's fun to watch those guys in that type of an environment, and for our players in particular with the Devils, that took the time yesterday, my off day, to you know, watch all their shifts from the tournament, because I just think there's a lot of terrific lessons to be learned for me as a coach about seeing our players compete in such a high stakes environment.
What are maybe some of those lessons, or what are you trying to digest when you are watching clips like that?
I just wanted to see where they're at, see how they handle it, but also just be prepared if they have any questions. They're looking for any feedback. That I'm up to speed for them. So I'm watching and learning. How the best players in the world are competing against one another. Some of the tactics and coaching stuff inside of it. You had so much talent both on the ice and on the bench. I think there's lots to be learned for someone in my position.
That kind of goes to what Jesper was just saying in the locker room before, that yes, some guys got their rest, but when he was in that tournament playing, he said that's the best hockey, the fastest hockey he's ever played. He doesn't have a lot of playoff experience. He feels that could be a real big benefit to him. Do you see it like that?
I do, and talking with him, I think he's got really good perspective on the event and the lessons that he took away from it. And I think the rest and the break for everybody is really good, but for those participating in the tournament, I think it can only help it grow. And for our players in particular, as you say, that haven't had a lot of playoff experience, to be able to compete at that level. It's great to see them. And like I said, I wanted to make sure I was fully up to speed on how they performed and how they looked in that environment, and I was proud of those guys.
For your guys, Sheldon, that were watching the game last night, and I'm talking to a couple of them, they were talking similar to you about the defensive details there and what they saw was required to win like that. Is that what you're hoping they took away from watching the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, these are the most talented players, that these four nations can offer, and many of them are the top scorers in our league. Yet you put them all on the ice together and it becomes a defensive battle in essence, just because of what's at stake. You see how hard they're competing, how structured they're playing. So whether it's the low chances for, the low shots on goal, the lack of power plays, all that stuff creates a much different environment that you encounter in the regular season, and that's ultimately what you need to be able to utilize practices and the regular season for, is to be able to compete at that level. Though the talent level is a little different, it's not a lot different than what the playoffs are like, So it's finding a way to be comfortable within that environment. That what it's all about.
How has Nico gotten through this week, and do you anticipate him playing tomorrow?
Yeah, we got to see exactly where he's at. That's been the plan, is building him up towards playing. Obviously, it's a back-to-back right out of the gate here, so I'll have to have a conversation with him, or more importantly, the medical people, just to make sure that they're on the same page and that he's okay. But he's got through some pretty hard and competitive practices here, which is a very good sign. I think we'll just see where he's at tomorrow.
And we've seen Markstrom out here a few practices early on in practice. Obviously, that's a good sign, but is his timeline still the same, Sheldon?
Yeah, I don't even recall what the timeline was, to be honest, but he's progressing. He's obviously got a full goalie session today, second practice now where he's been out for the early portion as scheduled, left the ice. So obviously he's not building up a full workload here yet, so he's not close to playing at this point, but he is certainly making his way to being closer to a full practice participant, and that'll be the next step for him.
Would the expectation be that Casey will stick around for, obviously you guys are going away for a long time?
Yeah, we're going to keep him. He's going to be here through the trip, and it's a good opportunity for him to get some reps and to remain available for us. Obviously, he played some good hockey for us early in the season, so if we decide to go with him, we've got confidence that he can help.
Stretch run, 25 games left. What do you want to see this team do, or win every game? I get it, but how do you get there? What do you want to see from them?
Well, the first thing is, like we've been talking about since we've come back from the break here, is we need to find our game quickly. The teams that find their game the quickest coming out of this break, because it will take some time to get back playing, to the level that you want. It's these breaks are great, but it's you get out of your rhythm, you get out of your routine. The body is not as conditioned quite the same. We have had ample time to sort of jumpstart things, so I'd expect us to be good early. But we want to really find our game, and before the break we weren't there. We were up and down and inconsistent. So we want to get to it, and that's really important because, as you say, it's 25 games. They're going to come quick, and we've got not an easy schedule. I think anybody in the league is going to have an easy schedule here, given the break and everything that you've had. It gets condensed, but they're all important games, and we want to make sure we get to our games. So what does it look like? That we're connected, we're skating well, we're executing with the puck and getting out of our zone and getting through the neutral zone well. And then defensively, we're just playing with structure, we're playing with intelligence, and we're not beating ourselves and giving up high-end chances. We're committed defensively. Those are all the things I expect from our guys right away. That's what we've been talking about since getting back together, and we get a chance to put it into action tomorrow night.
When you're talking about consistency, what is the first block of that foundation to get consistency from a team standpoint and just for an individual player to get that consistency just for themselves?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the attention defensively because that's where you have to be consistent there. When you are consistently on the defensive side of it, whether it's the structure piece or just the situational awareness, and managing the puck and covering for one another, supporting each other, that area gives you a chance to win every game, no matter who you're playing. And when you're inconsistent in that area, you're going to get inconsistent results. So that's what it looks like from an individual standpoint. Is just get your brain switched on early. Like let's be dialed in here. We don't have the benefit of a preseason or anything to get back up and running here. This team knows what the expectations are. They know how to play. They've shown when we do execute and we are consistent shift to shift throughout a game that we're a tough team to play against, and expect us to get back to that quite quickly. And frankly, we're playing a Dallas team tomorrow that's going to demand that from us.
Thanks, Sheldon.